So, Veronica, we have to wait 60 seconds before I can start the Alpha Geek Media thing for some reason.
Why?
So, what do you want to talk about for 60 seconds that only the video people will see, or the people who listen to the full audio on the treasure chest?
I don't know. It's too much pressure. I don't have anything prepared. They can see this.
That's
Fun
true.
hair
The
dance.
video people can see a special hair dance.
Special
60
dance.
seconds of special hair dance. We should really save that for the patrons. That should be a bonus level.
Felt nice. Felt like getting a
If you back us at the $5 a month level, you'll get a monthly hair dance video.
hair dance. Hair dances with Veronica Belmont.
Oh, you mean...
Veronica Belmont.
All right. Has it been 60 seconds?
I don't know.
I feel like it's been 60 seconds.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm starting it.
Okay.
No, I know it's YouTube reasons, Todd. Todd's in the chat room. He's like, it's YouTube reasons, not me. Let's make that clear. That's true. It's not Todd's fault. All right. Well, then let's do this. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Howard, co-executive producer for the Daily Tech News Show. Join me as a co-executive producer for only $10 a month. In addition to the fancy business cards, you will get that special feeling inside knowing that you are supporting the creation of quality content. Go to patreon.com/acedetect. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT.
This is the Daily Tech News for Monday, September 21st, 2015. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, as she does most Mondays, Ms. How's it going,
Whoa,
Veronica?
that was like two songs at the same time. It was
That's a
pretty
lot of song.
intense.
It was a little over song. Apologies for that, everyone.
It's okay.
Veronica is suffering from overclocking. You're too much heat.
It's so hot in San Francisco, and I was complaining earlier, and you were saying, yeah, it's been hot here in LA for a few weeks too. The key difference being, we do not have AC here in San Francisco.
I'm at the air conditioning border of LA, where like more houses, not all of them, mind you, but more houses to the east of me have air conditioning. As you get closer to the ocean, though, fewer and fewer do, because they're by the ocean,
less and
which
less.
is
That's right.
Same as San Francisco.
No, nobody has. You'd have to go like increasingly southward, and even then, I still don't think that people in like San Jose probably have all that much air conditioning. But I'm
More
not sure.
often,
I can't
but yeah,
speak for them.
Our topic today is not the geographical distribution of air conditioning in the American Southwest. It is, however, going to be about Periscope, and we have a special email from one of our listeners in Turkey that we'll talk about. We got some examples of when technology has disrupted the world around social justice, and whether social unrest and social justice are actually causes for these technological uprisings or not. But first, Veronica, are you prepared for the headlines?
I am.
TechCrunch says Apple has confirmed a Palo Alto Networks report that 39 iOS apps in the Chinese iOS App Store contained malware that Palo Alto is calling Xcode Ghost. App developers had used an infected version of Apple's developer software, Xcode, obtained from a third-party link on Baidu, which has since been taken down. The infected apps have been removed from the App Store as well, but when they were there, and if you still have them on your phone in China, they were capable of doing things like reading device information, data from the clipboard. If you were cut and pasting passwords, that could be bad. And using OS alerts to kind of push things that would fish for passwords, etc. WeChat was vulnerable in its previous version. Didi Kuwati, the ride-hailing app, was vulnerable. Camcard. All of those were among the affected apps. Thanks to Abutuela Condulce for the tip. Remember, folks, though, if you're not using the Chinese App Store, your apps are not affected.
Why would anyone want to use a version of Xcode from a third-party site? Why would you not just get Xcode from Apple?
Right, is a fair question. And apparently the reason is that in China, the Apple servers are often slow to download Xcode. And so they're like, oh, check out this much faster link for Xcode. And some impatient developers must have bit.
Ouch. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, and you know that's funny too because we always say if something has made it into the App Store, there's it's a good chance it's going to be fine. We don't really worry about that all that often. That's something we kind of reserve for Google Play and Android apps because there's less oversight there. But it goes to show that not everything is perfectly safe. There's always a chance that something could have malware installed and you don't even know.
Always be careful.
And moving on to another Apple note, the delayed update to watchOS 2 has finally been released. Apple would not comment on what bug had caused the delay, but you can get the update if you go into your watch and go into the settings and make sure your watch is plugged into a power source first. That's the way you're going to get it to move through. I realized that. I was like, why won't it update? Oh, because you're wearing it, dummy. That's why.
Yeah, that's kind of a pain. I guess you could set it to update overnight. New watch faces.
Yay!
Apple security issues, an Apple OS release, and now an Apple rumor to complete the hat trick. Wall Street Journal cited literally people familiar with the matter. I was so happy when I saw that exact phrase in the story. In a report claiming Apple is targeting 2019 to finish its work on a car. Now, Wall Street Journal itself, at the beginning of the article, says to deliver a car, to manufacture a car, and then later on in their own article say it's possible this might just be like the finalization of the tech, and they might not actually deliver the car in 2019. Anyway, it's supposedly, according to the people familiar with the matter, going to be an electric car, but not driverless. And it may be made in conjunction with an existing automaker, not made directly by Apple. What are facts about Apple and cars is that they have hired many car experts, and they did meet with the California DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, to discuss autonomous vehicle regulations. Those two things we know for sure. Everything else is just rumor, people familiar with the matter type stuff.
Yeah, this seems like the kind of article where we're like, yeah, we know, we've been following this. This is kind of, okay, in line with what we've already been thinking about for the past 6 months. So
yeah,
no big surprises there.
Maybe the source told the Wall Street Journal is pretty good at handling these sources and only passing along the ones that have a very high probability of being true. Maybe the source said, yeah, this is moved from an experiment to a committed project, right? And
okay.
that could be valid. That's the thing that might be significant about it, I guess.
And yeah, it's important to note that this is not autonomous vehicles. I mean, you did say that, but then they also go on to discuss more autonomous vehicle news within that same article. So just remember, probably just electric cars, not autonomous vehicles.
At least
2019 seems still a little bit early for that kind of stuff, at least to me. But who am I to say? Christopher Poole, a.k.a. Moot, founder of 4chan, has sold the site to Hiroki Nishimura, founder of popular Japanese message board and 4chan inspiration, 2channel. Details of the terms of acquisition have not been disclosed. Poole stepped down as the site's admin in January, relinquishing duties to part-time deputies. This seems to be going over well in that community, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it seems like Nishimura has a good reputation for community management, and that Poole was saying, I have often looked to him as an inspiration for how to manage communities and learned from Nishimura, so hopefully that's true. Maybe they'll buy 8chan, and then they can create 16chan and 32chan.
How about no?
No? Okay.
No.
But yeah, no, for 4chan being involved in a change, this is ridiculously quiet. I feel like. Yeah,
I also haven't dug too deeply into that world to really get a sense of the feelings, but if you guys are involved, let us know how it's playing over there. Curious, inquiring minds.
Over on the subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, Flying Spatula noted that France's Commission Nationale de l'Informatique et de Liberté. I'm so glad Patrick.
Where's Beja when you need him? Yeah.
I know. CNIL is the abbreviation. We're going to call it CNIL. Has rejected Google's appeal and will require Google to remove links from non-European versions of its sites under the right to be forgotten rule. According to Ars Technica, if Google does not comply, it could face fines up to 300,000 euros, and those could increase to 2 to 5% of global operating costs under an incoming regulation change. You're talking €1 billion then, possibly. Now, if fined, Google can appeal to the French Supreme Court and defend itself in detail. Google's arguing, look, if we do this, then all websites will eventually, if you apply this logic everywhere, all websites would have to operate to the lowest common denominator of the most restrictive regimes in the world. Like, that is not okay. You can't make us do this.
This is a big deal. I mean, this is something we've talked about a lot on the show, for better or for worse. I do not think that in this implementation it's a good idea, and now it's going to have even further reaching consequences. So, very, very strange stuff. And that's 2% to 5% of global operating costs is nothing to scoff at for Google. That's a lot, a lot of money.
Oh yeah, no, it's a ridiculous amount of money. I have a thought, which is, could Google block all versions of itself except for google.fr if the IP address is French, and would that satisfy CNIL? And so instead of making its other sites obey French law, just say, fine, if that's the way you're going to be, France, your citizens can only get the French version of Google.
That's, that probably would work, though. And if the people were in uproar enough about that, maybe that could change back some of CNIL's thinking. I don't know.
Similar,
I mean,
it's similar to what Google did in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Google in Spain said, oh, well, you're going to force us to pay people for Google News no matter what we do? Then great, we're shutting down Google News in Spain.
Yeah, that did happen. Reuters reports that high-speed internet access is coming to short-hop flights over Europe. Inmarsat and Deutsche Telekom, I'm not saying that right.
Inmarsat.
Inmarsat and Deutsche Telekom will partner up to offer a combined satellite and air to 4G ground network, which the companies say will deliver home broadband speeds. Pricing will depend on cabin class and ticket price. Lufthansa Airlines will do a test run of the service on 180 planes in 2017. Ahead of that trial, Lufthansa will offer global express satellite internet from Inmarsat from 2016. Inmarsat?
Inmarsat.
Inmarsat.
Inmarsat. It's satellite company. Yeah, the satellite company. You know, the satellite folks. Anyway, this is awesome. Like, more Wi-Fi and more planes.
I've been using Wi-Fi and planes pretty nonstop. In fact, I've been kind of happy with United's new offering of like $3.99 for, pretty decent Wi-Fi, but per hour. Mm-hmm. They didn't like having to pay like $10 for a flight and only needing to use the internet for half an hour for work stuff.
Oh, so there are United flights that have Wi-Fi. I've rarely been on one.
Well, I know, because Southwest. Oh.
No, when I fly United, they never have Wi-Fi on the plane.
Really? All of my United flights have Wi-Fi now.
Udacity announced it's opening its first office outside the U.S. in India. Udacity, if you don't know, offers nano degrees. So they're miniature little degrees in tech skills. In India, it will offer front-end web developer, Android developer, data analyst, iOS developer, intro to programming, full stack developer, and tech entrepreneur. The courses will cost 9,800 rupees each. That's about $135 US, with a 50% refund upon graduation. Google and Tata Trusts are combining to offer 1,000 scholarships too, if you can't even come up with the 9,800 rupees, for the Android nano degree as part of the launch. So if you want to do Android, you might be able to get one of the courses for free.
Awesome. Man, they are loading on me in the chat room right now. They're like, is Veronica taking pronunciation lessons from Scott Johnson?
Yes.
Haha, you guys. Haha. I don't know how this person likes to pronounce their username. Let's call it Snapier. S. Snapier pointed out Volkswagen admits it installed an algorithm to alter the emissions of nitrogen oxide on certain vehicles, diesel vehicles, light-duty VWs, and Audis made after 2009 in order to pass EPA tests. A notice of violation sent by the EPA described the software as using data like steering wheel position, speed, and length of engine operation to tell if the car was being tested, and increase nitrogen oxide emissions if not. A study by West Virginia University's Center for Alternative Fuels, Engines, and Emission discovered the discrepancy. And they were not out to... Okay, so by the way, first of all, disclosure, I am one of the affected vehicles, which is kind of a bummer. And two, the West Virginia University Center for Alternative Fuels, Engines, and Emissions, they were not out to get Volkswagen. They weren't like looking to take them down. They had just noticed some differences between the European test results and the American test results, and they're like, oh, that's weird. And so they started doing tests, real-world simulations versus tests in a test atmosphere, and notice the differences. So basically, when the vehicle can tell it's being tested, it reduces emissions automatically.
Yeah, it fakes
that is
the
a
test.
big no-no. Yeah, it fakes the test. It cheats. And this is kind of a bummer because, I'm a big fan of diesel engines and diesel as an alternative fuel. And this is going to take that way back because, VW and Audi are the two, as a company, the biggest manufacturer of these vehicles that run diesel. And it's going to be a situation for that market for sure. And it's going to affect the resale value of my car, which is already terrible, but whatever. So thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Audi, aka VW. It strikes me that one of the defenses of the multiple vulnerabilities to car systems that were discovered at Black Hat and DEF CON this year and are discovered from time to time is that the car industry is just getting up to speed technologically. Well, apparently they're real good with algorithms that can detect whether a nitrogen oxide test is happening or not.
Right.
So maybe apply those efforts and the people who came up with that clever algorithm, which apparently worked like a dream, to securing your GD systems that people use for entertainment that can be hacked and take over their cars. Don't give me the excuse that you don't have the technicians anymore if you can pull this off.
Yeah.
You know
I know what you're saying. Although, is it financially in their interest? Well, now it might be.
Exactly.
So I read on Jalopnik that they're going to be fined up to $37,000 per vehicle. That is sometimes more than the price of the vehicle if they don't comply.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
Well, there's that, and also the public perception of so you're not securing the car against hackers, but you are cheating. Maybe you might want to change that public perception. That might be worth your money.
Makes me sad.
Kahahuki Bekrar is founder of French hacking firm Vupen, which sells intrusion techniques to government agencies. Now, a lot of people do not look kindly on that. Wired reports that Bekrar has a new company called Zerodium, which announced Monday it will pay $1 million to anyone who gives the company a technique to take over an iOS 9 device remotely by web page, app, or text message. To claim the bounty, the vulnerability must not be reported or publicly disclosed. In other words, you can't tell Apple about it if you want to get your $1 million, because Zerodium wants to sell it to government agencies, one presumes. Zerodium's website reads, Apple's iOS is currently the most secure mobile OS. Hence the need to pay $1 million to hack it. I guess that's good news for Apple. Apple reports that more than 50% of iOS devices run iOS 9 already a week after it launched. Creepy story. Does sort of imply that iOS 9 is one of the harder to break into operating systems. And we're not talking, this is different than the App Store thing, right? That was putting malware in an app and kind of getting it into the system. Zerodium wouldn't pay $1 million for that. What Zerodium wants is the ability to remotely access a phone and get it and own it from there.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Also,
they say they'll pay it multiple times too for multiple vulnerabilities.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they caps 3 times, I think, about $3 million.
PCMag reports that researchers at the University of Toronto Citizen Lab found 26 vulnerabilities in the Smart Sheriff child monitoring app backed by the government of South Korea. The app allowed unauthorized users to monitor and steal data and change passwords, among other things. Back in April, South Korea instituted regulations that require all smartphones sold to children to include bundle parental monitoring software and made Smart Sheriff its preferred pick. Great.
Smart Sheriff. Is how I imagine it being pitched. I don't know why. Yes. Another example
of... It's a vulnerable day. I'm feeling very vulnerable, Tom.
When you build a backdoor in, it does, man. It's days like these that just make you want to quit the internet. When you build a backdoor in, anybody can use the backdoor.
Yes. Yep. Okay.
Forbes has sources that say Samsung plans to launch a program to lease its Galaxy phones in the U.S. market, similar to the one Apple announced recently. Samsung may launch the program in the next several months or perhaps even sooner. This is all sources say, and the exact pricing and everything is unknown. But it does indicate that at least Samsung's considering it, and that this could be the new trend where manufacturers say, you know what, we're going to take these contracts out of the hands of the carriers. Moving more towards making carriers into dumb pipes, unfortunately, for the carriers.
Yeah. Let's see. Forbes says, and you read that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was intrigued by the leasing plan offered by Apple. I may yet go into that. Sorry, I was reading a joke. They were making Vin Diesel jokes in the chat room.
Did you get distracted by the Vin
I
Diesel
did.
pun
I got distracted
in
by
the
the
chat
Vin
room?
Diesel. I love puns, and I
So
love
here's
diesel
here's the
cars.
question to
No,
bring your focus back, Veronica.
Okay.
Will manufacturers control your phone purchasing from now on instead of carriers?
Maybe I want them to.
Yeah,
maybe I
I
want
do.
them to.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't really
I
believe.
don't feel
in
like carriers give that up
carriers.
without a fight, but
I don't feel like they
don't
have
know.
my best interest at heart.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't know if manufacturers do either, but I'm kind of liking a little change up over here.
Vin Diesel.
Anyway, I'm literally melting. I am melting. I am sweating through my shirt. I'm getting lower and lower in my chair. This is happening. Kickstarter has reincorporated as a public benefit company. The move commits it to having a positive impact on society instead of profits, or rather ahead of profits as well. I don't really know what this means. I don't know how this changes things for them.
Okay, so let me try to explain it briefly. You have for-profit companies, right? Mm-hmm. And for-profit companies have a fiduciary duty to their owners and or shareholders to pursue maximizing revenue.
Right.
Returning shareholder value. Everybody's heard about that. Like, it's the law. I mean, it's not exactly the law, but it's a duty. If you're a publicly owned company, you have to maximize shareholder value, right? Then you have nonprofits who are like, we don't have to maximize shareholder value because we're a nonprofit. We're not trying to make money. Then you have companies who are like, well, we want to do a good thing. That's most important to us. We want to do good for the world. But if we're a public company, the shareholders won't let us always get away with that because they'll say, well, you're doing good for the world isn't what's best for the bottom line, and we're shareholders, we demand you do what's best for the bottom line. But if you're nonprofit, then you can't make any money off of it, right? And it might be harder to get people involved in the project. So a public benefit company allows Kickstarter, or Ello did this previously, to actually say, no, legally, if you invest in us, you're prioritizing the public benefit that we commit to ahead of profits. And that any profits we make are only made as a way to increase that public benefit that we're after.
So that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was sort of developed for quasi-municipal organizations. I always use mosquito abatement as the example. So you've got 5 different cities that want to cut down the mosquitoes, but no city wants one city to run it for everybody else. Mm-hmm. But they also don't want a private company to do it because they're like, well, that private company might not actually reduce the mosquitoes. They might just cut costs, et cetera. So you make a public benefit company. They're like, look, your main purpose isn't profits. Your main purpose is reducing mosquitoes, mosquito abatement. But we're going to make you a for-profit company because then that's better. You'll be a better company that way than if you were government run, and we've got multiple governments involved in everything.
I'm so curious to see how this changes Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's interesting to see more and more tech companies looking at this and saying, you know, we don't want to just say don't be evil in our corporate charter. We want to actually like make it the law that we have to not be evil. Like that's essentially what Kickstarter's saying here.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. I'm like I said, very interested to see how that kind of plays out in the future, and if that changes anything for them, for the users, for example, if we see any difference there. I don't know what that would look like.
Yeah, I'm curious what effects it will have, and if you'll have opposite problems. Right now, you'll have activist inventors like Carl Icahn come in and say, you should return more money to the shareholders, you should do this, you should buy this, you should do that. I wonder if you'll have socially conscious shareholders now come in and saying, your public benefit should be this, and you're saying your public benefit should be that. And you could have shareholder fights over that. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. Submit your stories to us, folks. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com is the place to go do it. Let us know what stories you want us to talk about. One of the reasons we threw this Kickstarter story in here is because we saw so many people talking about it. So get in there and vote. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. And that is a look at the headlines. All right. We noticed a BuzzFeed article. Veronica was interested in it. Alex Kantrowitz did the article and noticed that just fundamentally, Periscope is used almost as often or more often in Turkey than it is in the United States. They're definitely the 2 most frequent countries that stream video on Periscope. I did a very informal test at 11:15 a.m. Pacific this morning, which is 21:15 Istanbul time. There were 41 U.S. streams, 69 Turkish streams.
Yeah. So this
and they were
is
mostly about soccer.
And this is not something we typically see across the social media landscape. I don't think Turkey is typically one of those countries. I mean, you'll see Brazil quite often, you'll see India quite often, but Turkey has never jumped out at me as being not that they're not technologically savvy by any stretch of the imagination, but in terms of countries that latch onto a social network or a particular service or something like that, Turkey doesn't usually spring to mind for me. So I found it fascinating about the reason why Turkey and Periscope had really come together in this interesting way. And it has to do with the CEO of Periscope, Keyvan Bekpour, who visited Turkey and noticed that there was some social unrest happening around particularly Gezi Park and the protesters there who were trying to protect the government from turning it into a shopping mall. Within hours, it had turned into a very violent protest with police tear gassing the demonstrators, using those beanbag bullets and things, crowd control measures to kind of keep them down. And he was wondering, is this a safe area for me to be in? Like, I'm not getting any real information from TV. I'm not getting any real information from Twitter, because those things had been kind of locked down in ways by the government. So he's like, well, what is a good... What do I want right now? I want to see what's really happening in the streets. I want to know what's really happening live as this is happening. And so Periscope was born of that, and it has become a great way for people in Turkey to share what they're doing, and it's spread like wildfire.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing the top 5 series at CNET, I would do top 5 search terms, and quite often 1 or 2 of the search terms would be Turkish. And they would usually be related to a message board of some kind, usually related to sports and soccer, but not always. And in this article on BuzzFeed, they mentioned that in 1999, a Turkish developer named Sedat Kapanoglu built something called Eksi Sözlük, or possibly a different name if you know how to actually pronounce things in Turkish. In English, you would translate it as Sour Dictionary, but it was basically a collection of news events, cultural memes, random topics, kind of an urban dictionary meets Know Your Meme, it seems like. And it was hugely popular. Also, reality TV is very popular. So Turkey has been primed for these kinds of social networks, and we actually got Burke, who's one of the people who used to write me about CNET Top 5s when I'd mentioned the Turkish things on there. He's been a great member of the community for a long time. He says, the reason I'm in agreement with this BuzzFeed article is because Turkey's current situation with freedom of speech. It's a lengthy subject, but I'm trying to type as fast as I can so I can make it in time for the show. Turkey is advertising itself as a free speech country, but in the past few years have encountered some handful of technological restrictions that would jeopardize the country's integrity or the government's credibility, and the government did not hesitate to ban several URLs, YouTube videos, and after a while, whole domains that served those sharing mediums, biggest example being Twitter. So I believe Turkish people are in a kind of limbo where they feel they have freedom of speech and the tools, but it's such a fickle position that they could lose at any time. So psychologically, this might make people even more attached to these kinds of tools like Periscope as it becomes an important asset of life. I believe when you combine Turkish people's social aptness with this unsure condition of social sharing, people tend to hold on to it more. This is my quick thought. I can write more. But I'd like not to be late. Yeah, Burke, if you think more about this, please do write with us. He does say that the Gezi movement perspective might be a bit forced because Periscope is currently full of mundane broadcasts, people casting all kinds of useless junk. But people like it for some reason.
It starts that way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It takes off in a certain way and then turns into something else. But I also would like to know why Periscope isn't falling under the same restrictions that other sites like parent company Twitter are facing under Turkish law. Article 301 of the Turkish Penal Code makes it a crime to insult the Turkish nation. So they are, if there are broadcasts of that nature, why are they not being held accountable for those the way other websites and domains, as Burke mentioned, are being held accountable for?
Well, and these bans that he's referring to generally involved national news events where someone accused a member of the government of corruption, and the government said, "Oh, well, you can't spread that information because that insults the nation," and so they caused Twitter posts to be removed, YouTube to be banned, YouTube videos to be pulled down, etc. under this law. But they don't do it all the time.
So is it the impermanence also? Like perhaps because Periscope is not always logged, They can't really keep track of it and tear it down because it's a live broadcast.
Right, because if they went and said you can't stream on Periscope at all, then they would come under huge European criticism for banning free speech, because Turkey is trying to be a good European citizen. At the same time, like you say, nobody has done something that is so controversial that they need to do it, so they're probably holding back. But first time somebody on Periscope is streaming something that the government finds insults the Turkish nation, it's going to put this to the test.
It's amazing how Periscope and other technologies have kind of sprung up around social unrest in this way. I mean, we're seeing Periscope and Meerkat being used to document police brutality and the protest and the Black Lives Matter movement. We saw Twitter really come to a head during the Arab Spring, and that was a huge change to be able to disseminate news and information so quickly over a social network like Twitter. And then, it goes back through time, I think. Like we were talking before the show about how television had its moment during the moon landing. It's not a moment of social unrest, but it was a thing that brought the entire country together, the world together at the same time around a specific event of big change.
Yeah, and Jenny Josephson, our producer, was noting how FM radio was used in the protest movements in the U.S. during the 1960s to organize, or even the printing press was very disruptive. The Gutenberg Bible let a lot of people read the Bible when the Catholic Church didn't really think that was okay.
We're out of jobs.
Put a bunch of monks out of jobs. So there are loads of examples of this. I think it's interesting. I want to finish with one more quote from Burke's email here, where he says that another social app, Foursquare and Swarm, were immediately popular in Turkey. He says, I'm a level 3 super user in the Turkish community on Swarm, and in our correspondence with the headquarters, we were approached about the immense embrace of the app by Turkish users. So even if we don't think of Turkey that way, they are an immensely social nation. And if you're doing a social networking app, you might want to try it in Turkey, see if it gets some uptake.
Yeah.
It looks like people really like Periscope, Swarm, Foursquare.
Early adopters.
Obviously Twitter, YouTube, etc. All right, so let's move to our pick of the day. Bill in Huntsville, his pick is Ooma, which he used to replace his landline service. It's a VoIP piece of hardware as well as a service. The premier plan includes call blocking using a database of over 800,000 known telemarketer numbers, plus the ability to add numbers to a blacklist with a wildcard, and that's what convinced Bill. He said, I seldom get a telemarketer type call anymore, and if I do, I add it to my blacklist. In fact, he has a whole system for how he manages that blacklist. He says, I remember when Veronica was a revision 3, she announced that she was using Ooma. I haven't heard her mention it recently. Did you continue to use Ooma, or was that just like a brief test of it?
No, we used it for years. We don't have it anymore, and in fact, we've been even phasing out our Google number that we used to have as a home line. So we don't know. We're not current users, but we were big fans. Yeah, back when I was at Rep.
.com, OOMA.com. I guess that's the thing, is I don't really need a landline anymore. But if you do, this might be something to take a look at.
I think there was a problem with emergency services. And using Google numbers and Ooma with emergency services, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. A lot of those have been mitigated. For instance, the ability to locate cell phones is now much better than it used to be. Certain VoIP providers are required to do E911. Certain aren't, so you have to check into that in your area.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I just I feel like that was part of the situation.
It was, for sure, a few years ago, and it might still be. Send your picks to feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. A couple of messages before we get out of here. James says, why don't Apple/Google/Microsoft/Amazon, do we have a good nickname for those? MAGA?
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple. MAGA.
Gamma.
I
like Gamma.
I like Gamma. Okay. Why don't Gamma build in the ability to tell their virtual assistants to take a break? Example, I'm starting to listen to a DTNS episode. I know it's about half an hour to 40 minutes long. So I say, hey, virtual assistant of choice, take a break for 30 minutes. I know that there's some people at those companies listening, so consider this a feature request, people. You people close to the matter, he says. So there,
You
James now
people
making
close to the matter.
feature requests through Daily Tech News Show. I don't know if anyone in a position to make this decision happen is out there, but if you are, please consider James' requests. I kind of like that, the ability to say like, hey, just stop listening to me for a half hour.
Or you can just turn on Do Not Disturb. That would effectively do the same thing.
Can you do it? Can you do the Do Not Disturb through the voice app? Can you tell the assistant, turn on Do Not Disturb for 30 minutes?
Let's see. Turn on Do Not Disturb for 30 minutes. Let's see.
What
No,
did it do?
she can't do that. She
She's like,
says,
I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
Veronica, I'm
She's like,
afraid I can't do that.
That feature request has not been added yet. I mean, yeah, because you can do it manually, etc. But like, I like James' idea of being able to just tell the assistant, "Hey, do this."
Smart assistants are still pretty dumb.
Sakani from Why Is It So Freaking Humid, Palm Springs. It's hot in San Francisco and humid in Palm Springs. World's upside down. Sakani says, for all the talk about ad blockers, no one seems to want to address the biggest problem with web design these days, in Sakani's opinion, which is first-party ads. You know, the full-screen content-obscuring pop-ups that ask you to like them on Facebook or sign up for their mailing list or bully you into subscribing because you only have 4 free articles left. Most ad blockers do nothing about these ads because they're not being provided by a third-party service, and you can't get rid of them with a script blocker because that practically breaks the website. Is there anything that could be done about this madness? I mean, honestly, this is all part of the same conversation to me, which is the reason people are going to the unusual length of adding a third-party extension to their mobile browser, which if you wanted them to do that, you would have to like move mountains to make people do something like that. The reason they're doing it is because advertising is so obtrusive and people are like, I can't deal with it anymore. I need to do something about it. And that I think that's the answer to this too. Those full screen ads that pop over stuff, just stop going to those websites until they stop it. It's the only way.
It's super hard though. I mean, this has been like even major news sites, like I get hit with those constantly. And it just breaks the entire experience because you try to close the ad and you end up clicking on something and then the article's gone, then you back out and it's just like, oh, what a nightmare.
Yeah. It's a time of struggle in the usability world. And one can only hope that the champions of usability will eventually prevail. But yeah, no, it's a great point, Sakani. Thanks for bringing it up. And that's it for this show. Before Veronica Belmont melts, we should finish up. Engadget.com for Dear Veronica. Perhaps you could send her in a question like, Dear Veronica, why is it so hot?
Why is it so damn hot? That'd be great. I don't have the answer for you on that. I'm sorry. I'll have to bring on a specialist, a weather specialist, for example, a meteorologist, if you will. I'm sure I could find one.
Yeah.
So send in that question. Actually, that would be pretty fun.
Send in the questions, all the questions to Dear Veronica. Is it dearveronica at Engadget.com?
It's Veronica at Engadget.com.
Veronica at Engadget.com. And of course, if you like science fiction and fantasy books, you absolutely should check out swordandlaser.com, hosted by Veronica Belmont and some other guy, but it's a really good show.
It's a great show, an award-winning show, if you will.
It is. It is literally an award-winning show. Twitter.com/Veronica. Of course, not that she needs any more followers. She's got millions, but I've got to say it.
I collect them like pogs.
Yay! Thank you to all of the folks who make it possible to bring Veronica back every Monday, and Patrick Beja, and Justin Robert Young, and Darren Kitchen, and Scott Johnson, and Lamar Wilson, and more. You guys make the show possible. We couldn't do it without you. We thank you so much. And if you're not one of the people supporting the show directly, do you get some value out of the show? Think about that. If you do, and you can afford to give some value back, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY, 593-2459. Listen to the show live Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern at player.alphageekradio.com, and visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Back tomorrow with Patrick Beja and Dr. Kiki Sanford. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Pogs.
Pogs. Bringing it
Nice.
old school style.
Yeah.
You know me.
I like me a pog.
There was a echo that I heard throughout the show.
Of course you did.
So
I didn't hear it.
I
No,
heard it.
No one else heard it but Veronica. because she has eagle ears.
It's
And
there.
I have the room mic up, or the room speakers up
Tom.
ever so slightly from last night when we did Cord Killers because we needed it up for Brian. No one else hears it. No one.
I hear it. I heard it. I didn't say anything though, so it's
Your
okay.
ears are amazing.
I just have really good. Maybe I just have good headphones.
You have good headphones, but that's not all it is.
Yeah.
So what are we going to call this, Ellie?
Oh yeah. Tell us, Ellie.
Veronica.
Don't think that would be a good title. There were some good ones that I saw in the chat room.
Go to showbot.tv and vote.
Veronica
people.
Meltmont.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
singing.
Ooh, Periscope is a Turkish delight.
That's a good
I
That's
really
because
like
I really
that
like
one.
Turkish delights.
Also, I like Turkish delights.
one too. I like all of these. Literally, people familiar with the matter.
I know, right? That's a good one too.
6chan.
All right, get in there and vote. Showbot.tv, live viewers. Gotta help us out here.
You guys were talking.
I liked Xcode Ghost Coast to Coast. Was also pretty funny. Thought that was pretty good. But, you know, my ego is such that Veronica Meltmont is a particular favorite.
Veronica
I want
Meltmont.
a tuna melt.
Well, it's also so true.
It's so true. I'm
So true.
just really miserable.
It's not so much the heat as it is the unbearable heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And then seasonally inappropriate.
I feel like Jenny, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only been living. This is only my third
Oh, I
summer.
would delight in correcting you if you were ever wrong, but you so rarely are, Tom.
I've only been here for 3 summers, and
Okay.
but I feel like this isn't totally outside the norm for LA.
No, September is actually
Yeah.
hotter often than traditional summer months. And I hate to break it to you, LAers, October, too, when you get the Santa Anas, and it's the hot, dry inferno from hell, and we can only hope that those are going to be mitigated by the El Nino, but not to the point where people's houses fall
It's
into the
Spanish
sea.
for the Nino.
So, yes, there's a very delicate weather balance here in LA.
In San Francisco, it's always hot, and September's our hot month. But this is like 90 degrees at the end of September is bananas.
That's outside the realm. Yeah.
I mean,
Because we picked.
The
Eileen
last
and I
2
picked
summers
September
was like
20th to
September.
get married because it was the most likely to be good weather. It was like among the
Yeah,
dates.
that's why
you
we
know.
picked the 22nd, which is
Right?
exactly the same. And it was
By the way,
gorgeous.
happy anniversary tomorrow.
Tomorrow, thank you. 3 years.
Woo! Has it been 3 years?
It'll be 10 together in October.
wow, I guess that's what we're
Yeah.
thinking.
I had just gotten my iPhone 5.
Yes, I had my iPhone 5 delivered to the wedding venue.
I had it delivered to my house, and it arrived right before I left to go to the wedding venue.
Or was it
like-
was it iPhone 5 or was it the 4S?
No, it was the 5.
It was the 5 for sure?
Yeah, because I never had the 4S.
Okay. Yeah, it was the
And
5.
the 5 was the first one that changed the length to be longer. It was a bigger phone for the first.
Yeah, it's pretty. No, Ian, I think September is the hottest month in San Francisco, but you're going to pull out some numbers that are going to...
No, usually
me
there's
wrong.
2 weeks, either September or October, that are scorching.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sad because all my cutely tote stuff is showing up, and it's all fall stuff. I'm like, oh, can't wear this cute coat yet.
Periscope
no.
is a Turkish delight. It's too perfect.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Want some Turkish delights?
Fine, I mean, you don't have to go with the fans want.
It's right up there. It's statistically insignificant difference from the other one that you
You're
like because it has your name in it.
statistically insignificant.
Your mom is.
Don't you dare say that about Barbara Belmont. She'll find you.
No, your response should be, I statistically signified your mom
Last night.
last night.
Oh my God, this is just getting out of control. Everybody,
You don't know us.
I actually
well,
just
do
bought
you?
my mom an iPhone 5S
That's nice.
because she broke. Oh my gosh, I just realized the iPhone 5 that my mom had that broke.
Was
she
the
didn't
one you
break
got at
it,
the wedding?
Was the one I got at that wedding, yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I like how when we just said that, it sounded as though we were giving away iPhones at my wedding, which is not
not
that
what happened.
crazy.
I mean, they were good gift bags, but they weren't that good.
They weren't that good. They were not. There were no gift bags. You got a bag of coffee. That's what you got.
I did. It was good coffee.
Oh,
also
and I got you bourbon. No,
Scotch.
Scotch. I got you scotch.
Got me damn good
As a
scotch.
thank you for officiating.
because I was the minister.
You were.
I tied that knot.
You tieth that knot.
So you're
It's,
responsible for everything that happens.
Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, Tom's going to get something related to your wedding that's just out of view of his camera.
I desperately, so we saved a bag of coffee from the wedding ceremony, and I ran out of beans earlier last week, and I was like, well, I mean, if we're not going to use them, why are we saving them? It's
You
almost
went
our
to
anniversary.
the wedding coffee.
So I went to the wedding beans. It was good. We're keeping them in the freezer as to keep them as safe as possible. It's not freezing temperatures is not good for the oil on coffee beans, so it does degrade them over time. But it's better than leaving them out in the open.
Give me the drug. That's all I want.
Yep. So.
All right. That was a guy from Time Warner Cable.
Oh.
But his name was Jean-Luc, and he was the nicest guy in the world. I was
Oh.
because I was
Wait,
like, oh,
what?
I'm in the middle of a meeting. Easier
Yeah.
to explain.
Good
And
lie.
He was just really nice. I was like, oh, okay. Plus, your name is Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, I know.
What did he want? Is he
Oh,
trying
I'm sure
to
he
sell
wants
you?
to sell me Time Warner Cable, but
Oh, okay. They come to
but
your house
he
in
didn't
person?
he didn't say anything about it. He gave me a pamphlet. What was the
Wow. Read the pamphlet.
TV, internet, phone, and home management. Better starts here. I'll refer him to you, Jenny.
Yeah, what the heck?
Elle belle bobelle banana fana fofelle mimma momele elle
Isabella.
elle belle Isabelle. She's like, Dad.
Dad, I'm on the internet.
She went, Dad.
Don't
Ellie?
do that.
Hi, Ellie.
She's getting
Hi,
such
Ellie.
a personality on.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, Ellie.
Say hello to
Bella,
the
bella.
woman once.
I've met her twice.
Oh, that's
Hi,
right,
Ellie.
at the dog park, the Serafina thing.
Yeah.
I think Ellie technically is getting close to the ability to actually end the live stream by percentage chance. Like, she's really close. She's really into those buttons, and I definitely get the sense that it's not that hard to press the right one.
Yeah. I mean, if we can do
I
it,
mean, hey.
she can do it.
We are processing your track for playback.
Processing.
Processing your track for playback.
Stop hunching.
Processed your mom's track for playback.
Okay, now.
Okay, Merritt. Okay, Merritt. You,
know,
never
I
know
used
when
to
Barbara
say this-
Belmont's watching.
I was going to say, I used to say that to Veronica all the time until I met her mom, and then I was like, I can't say it anymore. I can't seriously insult Barbara.
You know
She's-
Babs now.
She's lovely. She's a lovely lady.
Thank you.
Moms are people, too.
Right.
Funny, I don't think any of my friends have ever met my parents.
I
Nope.
feel like I met your dad once.
Nope.
He's
But
like,
no?
nope.
All right.
Nope. You
I don't know
have
why
not.
I thought that.
You've probably seen a picture of him.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe that's all it is. It was such a good picture. I felt like I met him.
God, I like mainlined vitamin B, and now I'm like popping over here. I'm like B6.
You're
Or
on
is
a
it
B, you're on a
B12?
B6 rush.
Whatever is the one that I used to have the patches that you slap on your body and then you feel better. You can get them injected too. I don't do that.
You don't mainline your B6 or B12.
Is it B12 or B6? I don't know.
I don't know. You
What
tell
am I
me.
putting
You're
in
the,
my body?
You're the vitamin junkie.
Nobody knows.
You ever used any of those, Jenny?
Crack cocaine.
Vitamins? Yeah, I'm low in vitamin D, like critically low, so I have to take a lot of that. That and all the other things I take. All the things.
Do you have a B12 or a B6 though?
No, I don't. I just.
All right. I thought maybe you could settle this
think
B6, B12.
No,
The internet
but
won't
the
know.
internet could change the social unrest in this website.
You could be both though.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think it's vitamin B injections. That'll tell us.
You can do B6 or B12.
It's B12. It
it's
is
B12?
B12.
Okay.
It's B12. It's
Is that the one that
B12.
gives you weird dreams if you do it right before you go to sleep?
Is that a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I had the weirdest dream the other night. It was
Weird.
it was actually not at night. It was during the day.
Jenny, I'm not a saint.
Uh-oh.
Do you know
Where-
that? Do you know that Amy Schumer joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
Jenny, we're not saints.
I know. My dream knocked Tom right off the air. It was really
Ellie
weird.
knocked me out of the hangout for a second there.
I know. No, all it
the
was
Wonder
is that I
Guy.
was watching another Fantastic Four movie, and it was just as terrible as all the others, but it took place entirely on an asteroid, and Thanos kept knocking on the door. It was really weird, but I was in a movie theater, and it took the entire length of my nap to watch the whole movie, and then I couldn't get my parking validated.
This was in your dream.
Yeah, summer dreams right there for you.
Wow.
Dreaming about the Fantastic Four and yet another terrible version of it, as if two weren't enough.
I like how your movie, you're having like weird flashbacks to movie draft or something.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, well, we don't need this anymore. Let's get rid of this.
Like, how many movie plots do you think came out of someone's dream? Like, they just dreamt of something.
Oh,
'Cause
totally.
I had a totally vivid lucid dream, like a long time ago, of Godzilla facing off Cthulhu. And
Oh
was
yeah,
like-
you've told me this one before.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It's like I was hanging out with Aileen, not Eileen, but Aileen, and then we come across like this nuclear power plant, and I find out that the source for the nuclear power plant is Godzilla in this huge chamber, and he's just sleeping. But because he's radioactive, they use him to heat the water and the steam. And then we go to the control room and find this little "do not break unless emergency" button, because we're annoyed because we disturbed Godzilla somehow and he was waking up and everything was shaking. So we break the glass, hit the button, and that just called forth Cthulhu and all the old gods come out. And then Godzilla faced off on them on the top of a mountain. Except that, you know how Cthulhu tries to make you go mad, you know, with his godlike powers? Well, Godzilla's a bird brain, so it has no effect on him. He just pisses him off, and he just fries him, and then he starts wailing to the rest of them. It was great. I was like, oh,
Wow.
I was like, man, if this was a movie, I would have paid to go see it.
She's ready.
It's Eli Thulu.
Old ones mean insanity, said the fishman to the bosun.
I think they should have Cthulhu brand tuna fish.
Sounds delicious.
He really is the old man of the sea.
Come on down to Bubba
Right,
Old Ones. Our new
Bubba
calamari
Oops.
special is to die for. Literally.
Literally. Also, you'll go insane.
Uh-oh.
These prices will drive you insane. I don't even know. All right, I have to tweet that. That's going to be funny. Come on down to Bubba. Should we say Bubba Oods?
Yeah.
That's the right word, right? Yes,
So
totally.
I don't know the spelling though.
Yeah.
You should look up. You should check the spelling.
Yeah, it's right. Come on down to Bubba Foods. Calamari. God, I spelled calamari wrong. Is to die for, and the prices will drive
You
you
insane.
insane. I'm taking total credit for that, even though I didn't. Even though you said
I was trying to come up with an Old Spice lyric, and the only part that I was sure of was at the end. Instead of yo ho, it would be fatang, fatang. Old ones mean insanity, said the captain to the bosun. Look for the fish people and jump into the ocean. Fatang, fatang. Something like that.
Everyone's going to be like, what is she even talking about right now? Whenever I tweet anything weird, people get really confused.
Oops.
Yeah.
The calamari is to die for, and the prices will drive you insane.
Someone keeps faving it and then unfaving it. It's got one fave.
Oh, it's me. I faved.
Oh, you faved?
I
Thank
started
you.
immediately.
Okay. 2 faves, 3 faves. Now
I'm
it's
gonna
catching
retweet.
on. Thank you.
Well, Relayas, I don't have Cord Killers tonight. Programming
Oh.
note. Cord Killers was last night because Brian Brushwood is dancing the day away.
Oh, is he? Is that why he's here in LA or there in
Yeah.
LA? Here, I don't live in LA.
Dance On.
He's on his dance
He
on.
is a dance on competitor, and it was funny. Last night, he came home from rehearsal, and he was like trying to memorize his choreography. This is great.
That is
That's great.
terrifying.
Are you going to try the choreography?
Oh no.
No?
I don't need to. I'm not in the show. That would just be bad.
Oh, I would pay any amount of money to see that happen. Like any amount of money to see you dance.
Well, you're going to see Brushwood dance.
I know. It's
Whenever,
close.
I don't know when Dance On premieres, but yeah, that's going to be that's TV worth watching.
It is. I'm very excited about that. All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Goodbye.